Vitality.Bee, that team, not really a big fan of the 60-40s. Even yesterday, they were in a position where they had a lot of opportunities against Misfits to make plays in the early game. They had 3 winning lanes, even though they had the heck from jungle. The thing that's good about that is that you get to level 6 very freely and easily, but we didn't see Schemes do a whole lot with that. We didn't see Vitality.Bee kind of push the pace and make a lot of fights here. So this time around, if we see a similar kind of draft, we need to see more activity from this squad because, again, it's going to hurt them in best of 5s when we get to playoffs. Surely they'll get there with the record that they have, but it's all about winning it all.
Indeed, yeah. It's literally all about getting active right now for this team, like you just mentioned, right? It has to be, by the end of it, making sure that you can somehow stuff the other side, because for the side of Vitality as well, like you were mentioning, they're slow play, they're calculated, they're good, but it's realistically, you know, sometimes it doesn't end up working in their favor.
Wow.
And the last time these two teams met, GameWard really did punish that as well. We'll get into that a little bit later on. As we see,
a lot of support bans.
3 support bans. They want to make sure Camillus has a horrible time. That's a top
that's what I was expecting too. They were setting up for the Tahm Kench, and it's like, all right, what are you going to play, Camillus? He doesn't have the... He hasn't played that many champs during the LFL. I think it's probably too soon for Renata, at least at this point in the draft. So the options are going to be, what are we looking for here? The Zilean actually, I think, would be kind of solid, all things considered. But it's going to be a little tough. Again, Camillus, not the widest range of champions played in the league. I'm trying to think of what else they could play here. For the moment, they could just leave support and secure things like the Jinx, get yourself a jungler. For Akabane, the Xin Zhao is still up for him, and it's one of his best champions, and I think it would be a great thing for them to get in this early game.
You know, there are very few options at this point for supports that are meta, right? You could go the Enchanter route with the Lux
Could go
pick.
Lulu.
Exactly, yeah, Lulu isn't a bad option either, but the question is, you know, does he play Lulu, right? Lulu isn't exactly something that you just pick up overnight either.
Definitely not. As much as people like to meme Enchanters, like, they are actually quite difficult. If I had a nickel for every time that like a Lulu would shield me after I take the damage, it's like, oh gee, thanks.
I'm so tired of it. You have to be so predictive when you're an Enchanter. Your spacing, your abilities have to be on point. Other things that have to be on point are your roams with picks like this TF and Diplex as a very proficient TF.
It's funny, yesterday when I was talking about this team in the draft, one of the few times we've seen Vitality be really active, be really aggressive, is when they have Diplex on the Twisted Fate. So I think this is already a good start for them in terms of draft and how we can expect them to play. And having that Jhin, of course, great for setup, and it's good for overall a lot of lane strength as well that a lot of teams are playing for here. With the Karma unavailable, though, and the Leo, a lot of good common pairings are taken off the board here. The Blitzcrank, I think it's a little too soon to see that one. It would honestly be pretty good, but I have a feeling we're probably going to see a support. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
This isn't bad. You know, considering all of the bans like you were saying, right? I think the Blitzcrank would have been fine, but there's not a ton to pull here. If you are a Blitzcrank, right, and you're more than likely to die, especially going into Tahm Kench, before you even get close, you'll just get rooted up and probably take far too much damage. So this Rel pick, I think it's interesting, but it has to be about how GameWard actually sets up with it, because with the Rel, it is all or nothing, literally. So there needs to be much heavier of a dive and potential burst options for GameWard as he moved through the draft. They banned with Lee Sin and the Orion.
So the Rel is good because overall it's not in the strongest point at the moment. But with the Xin Zhao and things like that, you do want to go all in already in these team fights. So the thing with this pick too is that Rel's Q is a shield break. So once you see the thick skin popped on the Tahm Kench, you can immediately erase that health as well. Does give you a little bit of healing. So it's actually going to be pretty nice in this lane matchup. GameWard taking away junglers, of course, trying to take limit options there for Schemes. The thing is, we've seen him play the Trundle, and that one is available. It's really good into the Xin Zhao, and it's great because I guess Rel might take Glacial nowadays, but if she does go the Aftershock, that is going to be really nice. I mean, a lot of champs who take Aftershock have started going Glacial Augment, like Leona, Nautilus, and things like that.
I was just about to say, because last game, that Nautilus, that Raxo actually did take Aftershock as well, instead of...
it's situational.
Exactly, yeah, because just because you'll be more tanky, and I find a lot of the value Rel offers is from being big and beefy, right? Being able to tank up a ton of damage when you go all in, because you have to survive after a certain point.
Yeah, that is a good point. So that also just sets up this Trundle pick that much more.
Oh, for
because
sure.
the fact that, and you see the Victor locked in too, which makes it even. I really would like Trundle here from Vitality just because of the fact that you have 2 immobile carries and you have this ability to, if they don't have flash, you get hit with that pillar, you're done. There's nothing else. There's nothing else you can really do for it here, and it would really set up things like the TF, like the Tom Kench, who's going to be going for a lot of these abyssal dives.
Yeah, very pick based, as you mentioned, right? But I find it might be not as great because if you want to Trundle, you do lack one big thing, which I find many teams don't see draft around, is just, you know, long, hard CCs. Like, you know, long engage, hard CC to make sure that you can try to make sure to lock down picks, especially in potential team fights.
Oh.
But what they have with the Jace, so
Greg
they
is
got
jungle.
solid pick. Yeah, that's, oh wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
No, I haven't either. It kind of fits what you're talking about, though. You do have a lot of your own sort of gank assist there where you can set things up for yourself with the body slam for your laners to be able to help make these ganks work. But the other thing, too, is, and it makes sense to see this Jace because usually with Twisted Fate, you want not only the ability to team fight, you want a strong side lane you can play towards. That's why you see things like Jace, things like Camille, and this is why it's going to end up being a really nice pairing for Vitality.Bee. They have a lot of options to play things out at pretty much every stage of the game.
Vitality, GameWard, as they start off with nice little roam, just a little cheeky roam to catch out one person, but nothing comes of it.
Was that a British accent?
It was like a little bit of like a Southern London thing, but
What?
yeah, it wasn't great. I don't know why I leaned into it. You know what? It's because of the word cheeky. It almost kind of just brings it out of you, know?
Yeah, I suppose so. And now, Vitality.Bee brought out an early ward out of GameWard with their heavy commitment into the bottom side jungle. Both teams will have information on where both junglers will be for the early minutes here. And I think that's important, especially for Akabane, because you do want to try and... I was kind of expecting him to start towards the top side, see if he can have an impact on this match against Shigenda, but I guess he's going to do the opposite, play for this bottom lane, play for what should be a good support matchup, especially because you can set up for a dive here. Rel, especially if you have that attract and repel along with that Ferromancy, you crash down on them, you get a lot of CC through, especially if you hit both members, and then you follow up with the stun. There's a lot you can do here to burst targets down, especially at these early levels.
He said, especially Jin early on, you know, decently squishy, especially if you get to about level 3, level 4. If he doesn't have his little deadly bloom up, is very easy to catch out and more than likely using those for vision and to thwart out any potential roams that we could see, especially from Akabane, who, as a Xin Zhao, you know, after the first clear, will most definitely be looking for a bit more opportunities to move in. As like you're saying, immediately they go
the level 2.
Jacktroll, the stun is not up as of yet, but there we go.
Nice
the
flash.
The stun, they lay it down. Really well done, really well set up by Camilius.
This is what I'm talking about there. The all-in is so strong here, they don't even need to wait until Akabane is there. Already first blood, he's going to in-axe, and this is the kind of acceleration we need here for GameWard's bottom lane. The fact is, Akabane, now, all this bot pressure means he can potentially go for the invade. He can go for a dive if they want to once Jacktroll returns. Jacktroll is only level 2 right now. So as soon as he finishes this blue buff, could easily set up for a play. And we'll see the example here. Camilius, I love it. He knows the timing. Before he even hits level 2, he goes in there with that Ferromancy, and it sets up beautifully.
Yeah, it was really well done. And you were talking a little bit about, you know, what potential options we could see in terms of the runes, right? As well for Camilius, he is bringing out the Glacial Augment as well. So he wants to go for the extra slow, extra CC, especially up against a TK.
Right, and I mean, we were talking about it actually outside of the show. Austin made a good point here earlier on into the day. Like, TK, he's got a lot of things going for them. Move speed is not one of them.
No.
It's one of the few things, actually, that are not good with him. So if you slow him that much further, it's easier to stay on top of him. It's easier to take him down. And everything else, though, it's going about as well as expected here. Checolad actually getting the better end on a lot of these trades into Diplex, potentially forcing an early recall. But Diplex doesn't want to do that just yet.
Yeah, nothing super extravagant. I did want to talk a little bit about this top lane matchup because I was expecting the Jace to come out last game, in fact, into the Scion. Wouldn't have been too bad instead of the Aatrox. But
yeah,
because Jace murdered Scion, unfortunately. Now early on, though, of course, because it's poke female matchup, right? It can get a little bit rough. But the thing is that once Scion is able to get just his tier 2 boots, he can sustain in lane very, very easily. And Jason early on is easily squishy, especially if he builds towards, you know, more so just the Eclipse and Mura mana, right? So Sion can actually trade with him pretty decently if he conserves his mana. But it's still yet again a Jace, and you have the option to all in him as well. So Melanik should have a better time, you know, going a bit forward, but he has actually managed to maintain almost even farm, so which is really well done by him.
And we have Skeens showing up on this bottom side of the map, though we do have some defensive vision set up.
Well done, the leaf flush into the knock. Camillus has to walk away, but Rel, outside of the horse, he is so squishy. There's the final shot from Jessica, just gets in range and gets one back.
And I like it too from Diplex. He was walking his way down just in case something ended up coming, in case they needed a little bit of extra help, but it doesn't end up amounting to much. The other thing too about this mid lane matchup is that Diplex, once Chekolad gets that upgraded laser there on the E, he's actually going to have a really hard time leaving lane, just because Victor is going to be able to punish you a lot when it comes to the wave clear and things like that. So as a result, Diplex is going to have kind of a small window to have really effective roam timers, I think. So he's going to have to look for it as soon as he hits that level 6 mark.
Well, you can obviously do that with Chekolad. All right, just making sure that with no flash down, Slowly Chekolad's play a lot safer. Maybe he doesn't move forward too much, especially with that level 2 laser. And look to be punished, and now Diplex has free reign, as probably won't get his destiny canceled too often. Akabe gets spotted, and Jessica just chunks about a fourth of his health.
Level 6
with that Predator. He's quite fast. There's Diplex. Gets a stun onto one, but the managed to move away.
Oh!
A beautiful flash body slam. And there's the knockback on Akabe as well. There's the ignite. One more auto. They get another. Diplex might die, but he walks away in time. That is 2 for Vitality.
This is what we wanted to see. Vitality.Bee pushing the pace. Making plays early on. Yeah, we have 3. We wanted more than 1 kill before 20 minutes. Well, we got 3 before 7. It's Vitality.Bee. Very active around the map, rather, and you can see it. It's when Diplex is playing the Twisted Fate. He's able to roam a lot, find a lot of these key angles to be able to set up a lot of these plays for success. And what does that mean? You get 2 kills onto Jeskla, who's now ahead after an unfortunate level 2 trade there in the bottom lane. And you have Vitality.Bee, who are still looking to make more plays happen here. Skeen's trying to set up vision on this side of the map and trying to potentially punish the fact that Chekolad still does not have his flash.
He gets torn down, like you're saying, and the lane has to be in such a state where he can kind of farm safely. So you see him not necessarily pushing the matter much further either, but to maintain it here would be ideal if Skeens comes back and re-ganks him and manages to find, just push the wave in, pushing back into Diplex as well here as well. Chekolad has such a bad time and has to call on Camillus consistently, leaving Inax's weak side. And that's exactly what a Vitality.Bee wants.
Right now, things slowed down a little bit. You see Skeens pathing towards the bottom side. Even though he's a little down in farm, because of all the plays he's made, he's up in XP over Akabe. He has level 6. He has access to that exploding cast. You see another play bot here for Skeens could easily translate to that first dragon of the game here. You see how much pressure exists in this bottom lane. In the 2v2, Inax and Camillus could potentially still get the better of them, but now with Diplex getting really close to having that ultimate, the Destiny back up again, it is something you have to be wary of, especially with how well the play worked out for Vitality.Bee last time here. But no one's going for any of these neutrals yet. Think that GameWard would usually want to go for these Rift Heralds, but this time it is going to be Akabane trying to focus on this bottom side of the map. Needs more gold into Inax.
Because speaking of Herald too, all that vision setup is there first for Vitality as well. And considering that Sejena should be able to get the push onto Melanik if he just hard shoves it, it should easily be theirs. But Akabane instead probably realizes this and goes for the dragon early on. And Skeens decides, I don't think he's actually aware of this happening either too, so we'll give that up.
But I like the play from GameWard. You have Chekolad move. He just sat in that brush, pretty much where Diplex is currently on the map, and he just plays in the fog. And you saw the danger pings coming through from Vitality.Bee. That movement, just staying out of vision, not even necessarily actually going for the dive, threatens it. You get extra gold into Inax's pocket. He picked up 2 plates. Almost 2 plates. God, that is so close. As a result of it, and it did give the pressure Akabe needed to go ahead and go for the Rift Herald. And because Skeens came to answer the play, Akabane can reset, go up for the Herald, and grab that for himself too. And if he shows up back bottom lane, makes another play like that, or a successful dive, you get all the remaining turret plates, and that can be an easy turret.
And speaking of which, both junglers want to come here. As we see, Skeens is first to the take. Camilius and Akabane are roaming up first, and Chocolate will be a little bit too late, so Vitality.Bee will be able to start it off first. The question has to be, do GameWard want to contest as Camilius is not level 6 yet? And neither Melanik nor Agenda are moving down first either, as there we go, they find the opportunity. With Melanik taking the first steps, Agenda right behind him, just trying to make sure that he's tracking him and his every move. The GameWard decide this might not be the play. If they lose the fight here, then things could go very, very wrong.
Right, at the moment, Vitality.Bee's gold lead is not very large. Still, they should be able to have the pressure to go ahead and do this Herald. Melanik is here. He's already getting pretty beefy, just with levels and that W passive. But Vitality.Bee aren't going to let this one go. You see the Destiny pop, but it's all 5 members here. We're going to have our first 5v5 at 10 minutes.
And I was thinking they might not have wanted this fight, but get on the deadly flourish. There we go. The curtains have opened up. But instead, we see Melanik use the unstoppable onslaught to get out of the ultimate as the ignite pushes him back, and well set up for Vitality. Melanik will fall.
And it's looking like, yeah, I suppose the Herald was secured by Akabane, but no one was able to actually grab the eye, so it's expired. You lose that plate for nothing. I do respect Camilius taking the Blasco to try and get it, but it's a successful play from Vitality.Bee, using the setup from Jeskala's ultimate there, that curtain call to set things up. And although no one gets Herald, you picking up that gold and being able to continue pressuring the rest of the map is going to be pretty helpful for them here. The only thing going for GameWard right now, Inax did reset pretty quickly, did come back first, is able to pick up another plate and toss some of that, or rather force Jeskala to lose some of that farm, giving him a minor CS lead.
Small stuff, right? Just incremental leads being accumulated for the side of Vitality, especially with kills like that. They're only about 1,000 gold up, so not too bad, but I find this pretty standard for Vitality, but they're executing on what we want out of them. You know, they're being a lot more forward-facing with their fights. They're starting not to back off as much. And even with the proactivity we've seen so far, with the comp with Jace, you have to make sure he's ahead. You have to make sure that you can play for him if given the opportunity to. And like you were mentioning, as soon as Chocolate has a level 2 laser, Diplex does not get to play.
It'll be harder for him to leave lane. He's going to end up losing more. But besides that, it's still things going pretty well for Vitality.Bee. GameWard very much need this win as they want any hope of playoffs.
Yeah.
On top of hoping other teams lose, they do need to win their 3 remaining games. And it does start here with Vitality.Bee. And so far early, things have not been going their way. But when you think about Jinx, Victor, you're okay with being, what, 1K down in 12 minutes? It's not such a big deal, especially with the gold that Inax is sitting on right now. He's down a kill, but he is up CS, considering he has this whole way to farm, that he's picked up 2 turret plates solo. And,
the other gravity field is a knock-up as well onto Chocolate, but not able to find the second stack of that either. Jackal could have the potential ult on him, but no, the Flex not able to capitalize, and Chocolate gets away with his flash intact, in fact.
Yeah, that's a big deal. He holds on to that. He only just got it back about a minute ago. So him being able to hold it is nice. And it also means that he can stay in lane and farm a little bit more. He can back and teleport if he wants to, because there's this dragon coming up. You don't want to let GameWard dragon stack if you are Vitality.Bee, so you can already see them setting up vision on the Spider side of the map. Skeens, Jackal syncing up really well just to ensure that their side, or rather GameWard's vision of the map is null. It's going to be a very dark thing that they're looking at.
Oh yeah, then speaking of teleports, Melanik has Ignite on his hand against Agenda, so if Agenda were to look to TP, would not be able to match it, unfortunately, as he's getting forced out of lane.
Wow.
One shot after the other. Yeah, like you said, this is a rough match.
Yeah.
You know, for Melanik, right? Especially on the Scion. So, as they want to punish mid, Chocolate still has his flash and Akabane there mirroring him.
Right now, Camilius is also in the area. They could look for something here. The question is, Is Melanik going to show up top? Or is he going to come and join the team? He's going to be giving away a lot of gold to Jace, who's already so far ahead. So he's decided he's going to ult to lane and ensure that he can, at the very least, hold on to this turret. But the thing is now, because the ult is there and he has the ignite, he hasn't swapped out his summoner spells, he actually is allowing Shigenda to just go ahead and walk his way down to this mid lane. He's going to be able to get a lot of poke and pretty much ensure that they're going to be able to get this if he continues walking.
Yeah, this is interesting too, how they're looking his force, because Vitality are still setting up vision of bot side, make sure they have the advantage, but slow for now. As Shigenda's being stuffed in, he pops, he ignite, and now he has TP to look to move in. Yeah, this is nice. But a dive, potentially onto Inax Camilius. The current call doesn't find anything though.
No, very little damage coming through, and that being done should give GameWard the opportunity to go for the dragon once Zachabine's done farming. Because the big thing you're worried about going with these objectives is Jeskla coming at you from range with those 4 shots. So now that ultimate isn't available, I think you should be confident enough to go ahead and set things up here. You can see Camilius and Akave now syncing up, moving in, and being able to pick up that second dragon is going to be good for them. Even though it's delayed, they will get the dragon stack. They will get to play for that soul, and you got to know it's going to be a really strong one because the first one was Cloud. The only thing left are things like Ocean, Infernal, and of course Hextech.
I would like Hextech.
Hextech is so fun.
I know. It makes the map more interesting.
There it is. Let's go.
Ah, yeah. Look at that. Bro, we're Raven.
Yeah.
We gaze into the future. New life would be a breeze.
Oh, man. I wish I could have. I can't remember the opening.
Seeing trouble from a distance, but it's not that easy.
Yeah. That's a great show.
Fantastic. You know the Proud family just came back as well?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, first couple episodes around.
Dude, you can't stop winning.
I know, man. I'm actually gonna go home and watch this. I'm really excited. Can't wait. Yeah. You know what else I can't wait for?
Wait, let me guess.
What?
This game.
This game?
I knew it.
Well, I was specifically going to say what kind of plays Vitality.Bee make next.
That's basically what I said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like you're mentioning, you know, there's they continue Dragon Stack on GameWard. Not exactly the greatest, but I find Vitality is taking these calculated risks as we know them to do. So we should see something being set up right around the 18-minute mark, about a minute or so before Dragon, just to try to punish GameWard. And how they play out these next 3 minutes or so are going to be interesting depending on the ways, considering they will get Rip Turtled, and they'll most likely save that when it comes time for slow point.
Right. It's going to be easy for them to hold on to it, drop it mid lane, either to just put damage onto the turret, or if GameWard really do manage to get firm control over the Dragon Pit, they could use that Herald to threaten multiple turrets in that mid lane as well. Either way, a lot of options for this Herald to come through it. They could honestly drop it early top if they want to. I mean, the fact that Shigenda is so strong right now, the 3,000 gold up for Vitality.Bee, a lot of that is on this Jace. He has a kill, he has so much farm, and he's picked up a good amount of turret plates in that top lane. So having some of that support jungle for him, I think will be really important. In fact, I think at this point, I would rotate Shigenda to the bottom lane. Have him focus on that outer turret right there, and just keep him there so that you can play for him, especially with Dragon coming up in 3 minutes time.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be big, because especially considering how it is set up, if you could push all the way up to that tier 2, you could drop the Rift Herald as well, right? Yeah. And that way, that you now have a chance of potentially cracking open the base. Inax might be dead, but I was Jack Troll not there in time. There's a Magnet Storm and the collapse onto Jack Troll.
Really nicely done, and Melanik is, interestingly enough, at this point, he's not staying in that same lane with Shigenda. He's not matching him. He is more playing for the setup here for his team, as you can see it. But it has been giving Shigenda a lot of alone time in this top lane, and I think that's part of the appeal of keeping him up there. All right, if Sion's not here, no problem. I'm going to take the farm. I'm going to take some of these camps, and I'm just going to continue being juiced. He's already at that 2-item mark. He's already gotten so much gold since then. Once that last Whisper comes through that Cyril does, he's going to have such insane poke, and these objective fights are going to be harder for GameWard, because when you think about range coming through from Jeskla and his ultimate, range from Shigenda, oh, hold on.
Yeah, she gets tossed back into the yellow card. The Everfrost lands as well, and that's such nice change to CC, but might not be enough. Jack wants to flash away. Skeens as well.
Oh, look who's here.
Further away in, like you said, there's Shigenda. There we go. That power slam onto one. The force shot might connect onto Akabane. They're waiting for it. Ooh, he flashes out of the way. He stays alive as Diplex is dead.
Oh, Inex is resetting. He can actually look for a little more. He's dodged the shock blast. But they are going to be able to walk away. Is at least one answer back, but a great play coming through for Vitality. Again, they're constantly pushing the plays, constantly taking advantage of how much power Shigenda has. He's had the top wave pushed in and was able to just move into this play and have that big impact. And you can see it. As soon as this starts, he's already walking down. Look at the mini-map. And although GameWard do feel pretty good about their chances, you see the all-in coming through. They aren't able to actually find a kill, and by then it's too late. The Jace is here, he's fed as hell, and he's able to help clean this up.
Indeed. I just want to point out a really small play that I saw as well. Diplex 2 goes ahead and yellow cards the Rel just so she actually can't pop Tom Kench's shield and manages to stay alive, because if she was able to, he was in range and Jack Cho would have definitely died, and that play would actually came out on well, pretty even for GameWard. So just small plays like that while we praise the performance that we see out of Diplex, and especially on this TF pick, who's been phenomenal on it. And once again, another dive, the second Magnet Storm as they collapse back onto Jackstrol. No shield this time. Camille should be dead. Nakame gets tossed back. A second kill are in order.
Wow.
And that goes over to Shigenda.
Yeah, Shigenda is so strong. He is the most XP in the game, and he has that last whisper. The item's not even complete yet. And that was almost half of Inax's help. And what that means is you're giving up on that dragon. You're not interested anymore if you're GameWard. You're huffing the Kopi and thinking, like, yeah, I don't need it anyway. It's not a big deal. Yeah. And I love this. Checolad TP's top, but Diplex also does, saying, no, sir, you don't get anything in exchange for this one. I'm going to go ahead and clear these waves out so I can deny you. But instead, Checolad, he's getting the better end of a lot of these trades. Oh, he's under tower.
Man, it's quite nice. He's right outside the range, right? So he can kind of freely poke him, but like you were mentioning, that level 2 laser from the Victor does far too much damage, and
sure does.
You're able to just win out on trades with the Q and the Aerie. So, an empowered auto really was a really easy setup to try to get more back into your own pocket. But on the other end, remember what we were saying, I'll watch out for these next 2 minutes on the plays, or the play I said, on what Vitality could do, but I didn't expect them to make plays, plural, on the consistent dives, and we're seeing the setup in terms of CC from Vitality with Schemes and Jacktrol, how it is immediate flips and Diplex comes in with a yellow card too. So it's a really nice pick composition that they have set up for themselves, and they're firing on all fronts when it comes to diving in. It just has to be about bursting them in time.
You can see how much value Schemes has been able to have on this pick, and oh, speaking of Schemes,
yep, Everfrost, one more, a couple autos, and Jenna comes in for the cleanup. And not even the big shock blast, either the mini shock blast.
Solid hook, he was low health. This Jace is incredibly strong. Again, most XP at the moment here, even though Checolad, and actually all of GameWard will be able to get some trades in terms of turrets and extra gold, they're still a good amount behind, and a lot of it is on Shigenda. He's about to pick up this turret here. He's probably going to be able to take it before Checolad, but he's not taking any chances here. He's just going to go ahead, shove this next wave, leave. Now the problem, if you're GameWard, is nobody can deal with Shigenda in the side lane. That's 1v1. Especially now that he has Cyrilda's. But Diplex can also join at a moment's notice, and this is what I was talking about in draft. You want a strong side lane to play to. That means once Diplex is on the map, whatever side laner is there for GameWard, whether it's Melanik or Checolad, you have to be very wary of not getting collapsed on, because it's going to be another danger on top of Diplex's threat in these 5v5s.
And this is a style that Vitality actually play quite often, but especially when Agenda has the lead. Sometimes, you know, he goes pretty even lane, so they do adapt the strategy to really pushing small sideways, and then, you know, moving into perhaps 5v5 more often than not. As Vitality start up this Baron here, gone to about half, but they'll move away instead because, you know, 5v5 here, not gonna be too great.
No, definitely not. And it's worth noting, too, when we took a look at that gold difference there between laners, Shigenda has the most amount of gold right now, and he's the reason that Vitality.Bee are actually in the lead as much as they are. He is 3,700, something insane, up on GameWard.
The sole gold lead.
Yeah, he is the sole gold lead and then some, because members of GameWard are actually ahead of their respective opponents. I mean, look at Checolad's farm. So the opening here is that if GameWard get a pick onto Shigenda, even if you go 1-for-1, it almost doesn't matter who you trade. It is going to be so valuable because of the strength that you're taking away.
Instead, they move on to Diplex, who is able to get away from this, but there's a gravity field. So not check a lot. They don't land the knock up on it either, but they want to at least try to get him.
Oh, the turn!
Return, the Magnet Storm, and it's a little 1-for-1.
Shigenda's in trouble.
Unstoppable.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shigenda goes down, and that's given over to Akbane. One more Jack Troll.
Oh!
Flashes into the wall, and he will die. 8-3 for what? For GameWard.
That's what I'm talking about. You get the engage you're looking for. What a beautiful turn from Chameleus to immediately be like, hey, they can't keep chasing us here. Sets the W up with the ultimate, and Melanic comes in to threaten Shigenda. You take him out of the picture, Vitality.Bee's team fight falls to pieces. So now GameWard will catch up in gold, will pick up this Baron, and this is their way back into the game. It's always been about team fighting. They just need to be able to finish this Baron up.
And they'll easily be able to do so with the terrain controls they currently offer. All it took was one team fight. We were praising how Vitality was so proactive, but the turn from GameWard was just better.
The thing is, too, they're opening up the curtains. Vitality.Bee are throwing everything just to take out Akavane, to take out somebody. And Chameleus, look at him. They're all grouped up. He's like, oh, no, this is too beautiful. I have to go in here. He even gets Shigenda, who has to flash, but still can't dodge all the damage coming through. GameWard recognize his power in this composition and know that as soon as he's out of the picture, it's winnable.
It's just up from them. And I mentioned this before as well, that the biggest thing has to be that once you move in as one, right? Once you find a pick for Vitality, it has to be about bursting your opponent. Has to make sure you get them down in time, because the return of the rerun, as you saw from GameWard, is a little bit too good.
So the thing is, too, and this is why the Scion pick ends up being really nice. Yeah, you get just absolutely dunked on, smashed, broken apart by the Jace because of the gold lead we saw coming through from Melanic. It's literally that. And the thing is about it, too, it doesn't feel like it matters as much because he still serves his function in this team composition. Yes, you can't side lane against Shigenda. It's not an option. It's impossible. But if you group up mid, if you have Shigenda in the mid lane, he's susceptible to the CC, whether it's from Chameleus, whether it's from Melanic, who, despite his deficit, he's still a very tanky boy, and that's all he needs. Lock people down, absorb damage for the team, and allow people like Inax and Checolad to get the damage up. Jinx, Victor, it's what I keep talking about. You set up these two players for success, then gold leads be damned.
And we were questioning a lot of his Rel pick, of whether or not it was going to pay off, how it was going to play into the team. But like you mentioned before, Beatdown, when you are on the ropes, it is always best to go back to the basics. And the basics is exactly what's present right now for GameWard.
Oh yeah, they're sending it.
Another unstoppable onslaught will force out the flash from Diplex.
And I like this. They're going to use their Baron only into 2 lanes. They're going to let the bottom lane go. It's not important. They're going to ensure that they can pressure mid, that they can pressure top, and that they can just set up to take the base here because they got the first 2 Drakes. They're actually okay with the fact that they're letting Vitality.Bee get 2 in a row, especially now they have the information. Jace is only now backing. If they're actually going to stop his back with the rocket, that's really nicely done. So now they know they can go in.
Yep, that's beautifully set up. He still has another 8 or so seconds to try to move back in. And in this time, they'll crack open the mid-tier 2 and, of course, the base on the top end for Vitality. And suddenly, they're under a ton of threat. And they can't honestly force split push with anywhere by themselves. They'll defend their base.
Yeah, Diplex, who's never going to be able to find anything. Just to see if someone recalled and there was some stragglers that they could pick off. But GameWard, recalling together, moving back, are in such a good position. And now things get really hard for Vitality.Bee. GameWard have spent all the gold they've earned in the last 2 minutes. And look at that. The Infinity Edge comes through for Inax on the Jinx. We're getting towards item number 3 for Checolad, who I think is only just now recalling. So I think he might just straight up go for the death cap here. And that's it. They're online. 3 items. This burst damage is unbelievable. So it's just going to be for Melanic, for Chameleus, being the setup. Checolad and Inax, they are going to do the worst. Vitality.Bee now can't really do the front to back anymore. It's going to be about finding the picks. It is going to be about Shigenda being on the side lane and seeing if somebody tries to push up into him, allowing Diplex to join the fight from screens away.
Yeah, because suddenly now, if Jack Troll goes in by himself and Diplex can follow up with just 1 or 2 more yellow cards.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly you're immediately down, 4v5, then 3v5 suddenly, and then you look at his agenda and schemes like, alright, cool, now what? Do something. You can't.
It's poking him with a stick.
Yeah, that's it. Come on. And yeah, after one shock blast goes down, it's like, cool. We now have the rest of our team. Good luck to you.
And this is tough too, because right now you see Shigenda, he's pushing out whatever side lane he chooses, and then he groups mid. Then he shows up to offer some poke, try and make sure his team doesn't get engaged on, but the actual windows of play are tough now for them to go on to GameWard. They're respecting the Twisted Fate ultimate here. They are grouping. They are not spending too much time alone in the side lane. And because of all the work they did with that Baron buff, their side lanes are in that really good position where they can afford to group up for quite some time before having to go and answer.
And I said this before as well for Vitality.Bee. They so far in between gets Jenda to actually side lane, and there was a small brief moment of time where he could push without accordance, without a care. But now, unfortunately, like you're saying, it has to be back to that exact same style, because if Vitality.Bee get caught in a 4v5, GameWard is simply just stronger at this point, and they can punish them. Gotta be which way. For now, though, no inhibs have been taken either. GameWard looking to set up for the next dragon.
You can see a GameWard having Checolad clear that bottom side, and they're going to set up some vision on this top side because Baron is going to be up before the next dragon, but Baron isn't anybody's focus. Both of these teams have 2 dragons apiece, and they have the chance to get to that soul point. Hextech, we know, is the strongest soul in the game at the moment. It's especially fantastic on champions like the Jinx, and that's a big thing that GameWard want to play for here at both of these teams, because either to play for it or to deny it.
Indeed, I believe we just have a small bit of a freeze here. Yeah, if you're looking at the PowerPoint, don't worry, we'll move to the next slide very soon, I promise you.
Very soon.
Yeah, but I want you guys to take in what is in front of us, right? It's pretty clear. All the champions, the warriors, the dragons, they're right here, and we'll get that up for you guys in just a little bit. Like you're mentioning, there is one interesting thing. There are 2 Zhonya's present right now on the side of Vitality. So all these stopwatches going golden, they might as well just be dripped out with all the stacks they could have.
Yeah, it's true on the other side too, where Inax and Akabane also have stopwatches. So you can tell they're gonna both teams are gonna be very, very ready for this next fight. And it's nice too that at least one of your carries is gonna have that stasis available to kind of protect themselves a little bit here. And especially for GameWard, the only option for Vitality.Bee we talked about is picks. Use some of their poke, try and collapse with Diplex coming through and maybe Jack Troll with the follow-up CC. The problem is though, you only have a few seconds to make those plays work. That's why the stopwatch on Inax is so big. If they can force it out of him in an inopportune moment, maybe. But even now, this play isn't actually available for Diplex. He's not going to pull the trigger, and the ult is gone.
And yeah, he tries to find exactly what they are, but considering GameWard have been in groups out for so long, going into 4 would be suicide at this point. So looking to just poke them out, at least get Melanic, you know, a little bit low to an opportunity where they could jump on him, and they do exactly that. A lot of damage put down, so he will have to be, you know, forced away and back.
No, this is perfect though. Even though it forces Melanic away, the stall is there. They don't know where Inax is until now because they just got info that he took the 3rd dragon. That's soul point for GameWard in a great position to be in because there is no opportunity for the Baron take. Melanic gets the recall, and he's already back on the map. The Hex Gates help with that even more so, and because they're forced to recall on Vitality.Bee's side, this is the opening. GameWard, they're going to continue pushing this wave out, and then they can set up vision for the Baron. They can even force start it, look for a play if they want to, because Vitality.Bee, 1, Diplex doesn't have his ultimate available yet. 2, if they walk into a choke here, Melanic can turn around and move in with that Scion ultimate.
And we've seen him do it before alongside the back of Camellia. So Vitality.Bee, you know, vision setup for themselves is crucial. And these, again, the downsides of Tom Kent. We mentioned at the beginning of the game that it's not so easy to set up for vision with him as your support. He's very, very slow, and if he gets caught out, which, you know, GameWard are very proficient at doing, and suddenly Vitality can no longer take a fight to give up the 2nd Baron, and things unfortunately devolve from there, as Baron is the next target for GameWard especially, as they're both teams are just trading vision and A-ramming mid.
Yeah, GameWard don't have the opening that they're looking for in particular, so everyone's going to reset, get some health, get some wards, spend a little gold if you have it. as we're seeing stopwatches, oh god, on so many members now of GameWard here, and even on the side of Vitality.Bee. So there's going to be a lot of stasis in this next fight. It's because in the next few minutes, they are going to decide everything, because Baron is still live, and we're 3 minutes away from GameWard's Soul. So one way or another, both of these teams, they are going to risk it all in the next 5v5. And with all the vision GameWard have around that Baron too, it's dark. Anytime they want to hide and try, and they could even set up a push play. They don't even necessarily have to do it.
I'm sure that was a game show. It's called Risk It All.
I think you're right.
You know where you, and because I could almost hear the crowd chanting along with the host.
Risk it all. Oh my god, that must be. I have to look that up now.
Oh, dude, 100%. It's like like Stephanie, will you walk away with the $5,000, or will you risk it all? And then right now, GameWard looking to risk it all. A big shock blast.
Oh, Jack
on
Troll.
the back of the team, like you said, Jack Troll, and alongside the explosive cask will dissipate all of GameWard and the chances of it 5v5. Both teams just trading cooldowns, nobody dying.
Yeah, and you know Diplex doesn't have the ultimate ready to go. The TP is coming through from Melanik after the recall. This is a Baron play. Chocolate is just chasing kills.
Okay. All that damage gets put down. Diplex has to be saved by Jack Troll as well. And now, with the Devour being down as well, they know that if they were to go all in yet again, suddenly no one can be saved. And Vitality.Bee have to give up Baron, man. Yeah, it's so fast.
Yeah, it's already gone. They can just walk away. There's no angle for them to come in, but in fact, they want the fight on GameWard's side.
They're going in. Agenda dodges out of the knock-up and then forces him back, but Akame goes in. That's the exhaust, but he still dies. Look at the back, and Jessica has to flash away as well. Only has one more of his summoners left to go. He'll pop too. Jessica will not be much talking about this world, neither with Diplex. He's running. Yellow car. The slow. Oh, so well done by GameWard.
And this is the fight. They are pulling ahead. They get the Baron buff going for them yet again. And they're going to be able to move down mid and threaten the base. The inhibitor is being pinged. They have everything they need to be able to take it down. And if Vitality.Bee aren't careful, they lose more members. With these spawn timers, GameWard can just win the match.
Indeed they can. They can simply just walk into the base. GameWard,
oh, here we go.
They were down for so long. We thought Vitality had it. As Camillus finds Skeens once more. That's the second tower onto Jack Troll. GameWard will complete the run back on Vitality. They'll go 2-0